Welcome to episode 115 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
Hillary!
Hi!
Party week!
Oh my god. Wait. Don't look at my person's name. Hold on.
I'm not looking.
I gotta move my stuff down so that you don't see it. Ooh, did you have fun at roller skating this week? You had the most fun. You had the most fun, I think, out of anybody.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was
Tina
amazing.
was so fucking good.
What?
Yes, you were! What are you talking about?
There's video footage to prove otherwise.
No, you did amazing. First of all, you put skates on and got out there, which is a lot more than,
Yes.
I mean, that's huge.
Yes, I had so much fun. I told my kids, I'm like, we gotta go roller skating.
Oh,
So-
let's do it. You know that we can go to the one over here in Oakland Park on what is it? The Extreme Action Park. They have a roller skating rink.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And my son loves it, so we should totally go.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. We can invite Chelsea, and Chelsea can come too.
Yes, and I ran into an old friend.
Yes, that was crazy.
So that was really nice to see him.
Yeah. It's so Broward to just randomly run into people that you know from 20 years ago.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Long
So
time.
I had the most fun. And Alfredo called me the next day and he goes, I have never seen you so happy. Like you were just like in your element, so having the best time. And I'm like,
but
that's the roller skating rink to me.
You're so good. And but every time you went around, you just had the biggest smile.
I love it so much, Tina.
And you got to be out there during the skating session where they kicked everyone who
the
sucked
fast
off.
skate. Yeah. Well, they started playing Missy Misdemeanor Elliott. What am I supposed to do, girl? You got to get out there and do it. You know what I mean? And then,
oh my god.
It looked like you got to see BDE.
Yes, I saw BDE, but he was like on the floor. That's his thing.
Well, he does that couple skate with his girl. And they're amazing. They're like
yes.
in sync. Like you were really blown away by how fucking amazing these like, in sync.
Yes.
Shuffle skates.
The shuffle skate was awesome.
It's
like
incredible.
that little pod of people.
Yeah. They're amazing.
So cool.
I know. So anyway,
so
BDE goes out there like during fast skate. He goes into the middle of the rink and then he does his breakdance moves, which we're all in love with.
That's what it was.
So fucking
But
cool.
he was sitting on the ground for a minute, and I was
hurt,
like, "Did he get
I
hurt?"
was very concerned. And I had to
Because
find Chelsea and be like, "What's happening?"
It was like a longer.
Yeah, no, it was
and
very
I was like,
upsetting.
I don't think this is part of the routine.
No, it's not. And it just reminds me about how much older we're all getting. Like maybe we can't do tricks on skates anymore, bruh.
So
I mean, can't even. I was literally sitting in bed. I went like this, and my whole fucking arm goes like numb. And I'm like, maybe I'm having a stroke. This is it.
Oh my
God. I'm coming. Like I thought something's wrong with me. Everything's breaking. You turn 44, and it's like dun dun dun.
Well, my husband. Because I was like, it was so fun. I was like, it was everyone like our age, out there. And he's like, because my husband, like, he just has to comment on everything. Mm-hmm. And he's like, this generation just thinks that it can do things that it can't do anymore. And I said, no, this is a good thing. I said, because we're not, and I told him, I'm like, I read that whole article about, or I saw some video that like Gen Z, not Gen Z, Gen X. Gen X is like, hey, we're not going to be like grandma. We're not going to, we're going to kind of age and be cool and like still do all the fun things. And he's like, yeah, no, it means that we're an immature generation that doesn't want to grow up. And I was like, well, who cares?
Yeah, well you're Gen X. That's
me. That's
why
me.
I feel that way.
But he's Gen X too, and he's like, no.
I mean, I can totally recognize that because I see it, quite frankly, in the moms when I'm around moms, right? Like they are dressing as if they're 20. I remember, I will never forget going clothes shopping with my mother, and we'd be like in the juniors department. She's like, this is so cute, but I'm too old for it. Like she like recognized, like she can't walk around. She looked foolish. Women today do not do that. They do not do that. I went to my son's basketball game at school. This woman rolled up in this like little cami top and yoga pants, and her hair's all in the bun. She has these cute little like flip flops on, and my mother was like, my mother said, it's not, this is about the children. It's not about you. And I was like, but she's fucking right. Like you're parading around a bit. Like it was a little much when you're, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe that's like the outing for her though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this is her time.
My mom goes, she doesn't work. She works out. I was like, that's right. You see where I get my
Oh, well, private school moms are a different kind of mom.
Some it of is, them. But I have found, and I have found some really cool, like, helpful, friendly people, like moms too, that are amazing. Because, like, I work, so you need, like, that community to help pick up the slack sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
And they've really come through, so. But none of them wore yoga pants, I'll just say that.
I wear yoga pants.
Oh, Tina. Yeah, but you work out. Like, you're actually doing that. Like, it's not a thing. This is what this woman wears.
Oh, like, just as her regular outfit.
Yes!
Yeah.
I know. Am I being mean? Is this mean?
No. All
right, fuck it. Let's move on to something else. I don't want to insult any of our listeners.
Yes. Oh, please.
All right, let's go. Let's start talking about...
tonight's event?
No, let's wait.
Oh.
Let's talk about how Don't Say Gay passed Florida Senate. And that's going to be signed now.
Yeah.
Even though those kids walked out 2 weeks ago, and then last week, the entire week, kids were in that Capitol protesting until they did that vote. It's terrible. It's really disturbing.
It's terrible.
And Baxley, who's the senator in the sponsor in the Florida Senate, there's Chasen Pizzo, who's down here. He's going to be redrawn into Broward, more Broward, by the way. He was literally just going, "What's sexual orientation? What is sexual? What's gender identity?" This motherfucker could not name any of that. Going, "Well, get an expert in here." No. This is your fucking bill.
It's your bill, yeah.
How are you going to put something that's discriminating against children and you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about? This is what the abortion argument is. Yeah. They don't know how shit works.
No.
But yet they're going to tell us what the fuck we're going to do.
I mean, we're in a bad place in Florida.
Yeah. Really bad.
We're in a very, very bad place, and it's only going to continue to get worse, I think, unless we can flip some seats.
Yeah. Well, there's a great that Steve Bosquat. I think I don't know how to pronounce the last name. He writes for the Sun Sentinel. He wrote a great editorial. It's out today. I read it. It came out yesterday afternoon, and it's like, this is not a Florida I even recognize anymore. Like, this isn't even, and it's like, it's all because he wants that national recognition.
Yes.
He's the most well-known governor in the United States, and it's also he can run for president at the detriment to the rest of the people. We're struggling here to pay rent, pay for homeowners insurance that's going through the roof. There's Medicare, but it's like
that's the thing. There's all of these things that are like actual issues to Floridians.
Yeah.
And the issues that are not issues are the things that are getting all of this attention. And he's not working for anyone.
Right.
But people love him. People, like, not Floridians, but, like, people outside of the state of Florida who are crazy Trump people. Like, I have relatives who think that he's a great guy. And I'm like, I don't understand.
I don't want him to be president, but if we can get him out of the governor's mansion and then he runs, like, go fucking run. But if we could just get him out of there. We need him to. I'm so fucking curious on how this is going to affect his reelection. Like, will any of these fucking things actually matter? You know what I mean? It's so playing to a base, but like, will the base actually come out, or is this going to make people angry?
I don't think the majority.
Like, we need more people angry about them than we need people supporting them.
But South Florida people, I think, are angry, but the rest of the state. I think the rest of the states, like Alabama and Mississippi and all those other states. It's really disappointing because we're going to have him again. And then he won't get elected president and we'll just have him. These copycat bills. Did you see Georgia's trying to do an anti-gay bill now?
Yeah, the Don't Say Gay bill. Yep. Oh, we're the best.
Oh, God. I don't even know what to say anymore.
I got Phoebe Bridger tickets. I'm wearing my Phoebe Bridgers.
So cute.
Should I stand up and show everybody?
You should. Oh, it's so cute. And it glows in the dark.
I can see myself. I'm just showing you. What if I did this? What if I went like this? Is that cute? Is that good?
It's adorable.
Anyway, that was a fucking nightmare because I get on there and it's like I had been verified as a fan on Ticketmaster so I could get this pre-sale. And I just like set up my debit card was in there correctly. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fucking great.
Aww.
You know, and I'm in the waiting room 2 hours early.
Wow.
Online to get the tickets.
Wow.
And then when the waiting room opens, I had 670 people in front of me. I was like, and then I was like, oh my God, how many seats? If you can get 4 tickets, 4 is 2,400. Like, what the fuck? What am I? You know, like, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna be able to get these tickets. And then I get in. And I pick my seats, and I'm like, okay, good. I get to the end, and
how many tickets did you get?
I got 2. And I added parking, and then it was like, oh, this you can't have parking here. I'm like, fucking take it off! I just want to fucking verify. I just fucking complete this. And it's like, it kept trying to do my debit card, and it wouldn't work. And so I re-entered the debit card. It's like, you tried too many times. I'm like, what? So they threw me back into the line.
No.
So I go back in there. I pick other seats. It does it again. I was like, I'm like this. I'm crying. I'm shaking. My heart's like, I'm like, oh my God. She's in Florida. Like, I gotta fucking go, right?
Yes.
And by the way, it's like 4 hours away.
Yeah,
on a Wednesday night.
So
I'm fucking going.
Just take the
anyway,
weekend.
when I got back in the line for the 3rd time, I got tickets, and I had to use my credit card because I was like, I can't, risk this again.
Yes.
And I got them.
Oh my God.
So May 25th, I believe it is.
So
I'm gonna go see Phoebe Bridgers. I'm gonna cry in this outfit with thousands of other people and scream and sing her songs, and it's gonna be the best therapy session ever.
So I wanted to get my son. I told you I'm getting him the Tears for Fears.
Oh,
We're going to Tears for Fears.
Yeah.
But Paul McCartney's coming.
Ooh, I've seen Paul McCartney.
So I was like, oh, this would be hard rock. And I gotta tell you, okay, you know that I am a huge Pearl Jam fan. I've seen Pearl Jam
Oh, I've never seen them.
Oh, I've seen them in many different states.
Cool.
I love them. I've seen them a bunch of times.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I walked backstage. Did I tell you this? I walked backstage.
Oh wait,
I got kicked out.
Yes. Tina just thinks she can go wherever she wants.
But you know what? Yeah, I can.
She walks back with some authority.
That's what you have to do. I walked back there and I was like, I just belong here. And I got right to that door. Right to the door of where they were in their big fucking, not the van, but the big stretch bus. And I was like, bloop. I got plucked at the back, and the guy's like, you can't go there. And I was like, no, I just want to say hi.
Oh my God.
But they were nice. I mean, they escorted us gently to the exit.
Oh my God. What would happen if you had gotten through there?
I just wanted to look at his face.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What if he was like,
Eddie Vedder, let's go. I don't no hesitation.
Oh my God. Oh, by the way, that's so funny you bring them up, because I saw on Twitter yesterday they tweeted out a whole thing where they're behind this rainbow, or they're in front of this rainbow, and they're saying thank you to everybody who's been protesting in Florida. Help us support Equality Florida. That's incredible.
Yes. They're so to go back to the tickets and Paul McCartney, Pearl Jam, I don't know if you remember, back in the day, had that whole fight with Ticketmaster, because they're right. Screw you, you can't just use us to charge people. Everyone should be able to go to a show. Yeah. And the last time they were here that I saw them, it was a few years ago. Because I remember he put a Trump mask on. It was it must have been the election year, because he was going nuts about Trump, and his tickets are all the same price. When you go to a Pearl Jam, you're not it's kind of the same thing. You in the waiting room, you try to get your tickets only a certain amount, but there's no price gouging. It's even still today.
Well,
but Paul McCartney.
How much money does Paul McCartney
Paul
fucking
need?
How much?
I went in. And I went in and I did from the lowest, sort low to high. Guess how much the lowest ticket is?
$250.
No.
400. More? 500.
No.
Tina, shut the fuck up.
$853.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And I'm like, I want to take my son who loves this band. He's loved this band. And maybe there were some cheaper tickets because they've been on sale for quite a while. But the Hard Rock venue is a small venue.
Yeah.
I saw Bob Dylan there. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. $850. There should not. Oh my God. It was so sad.
He's unrecognizable at this point with that voice.
It was so sad. It was Merle Haggard and Bob Dylan. And I could barely understand Bob Dylan. I know.
It's very upsetting.
But, I mean... $850
no win. Every Bob Dylan song now rolling through his head.
I love Bob Dylan. But $853, even if it was the front row, top tier seat.
No fucking way.
And it's way up top.
Yeah, no.
$853, and I'm like, this is messed up. Because music should not be only for people who have money to go.
Yeah, I felt the same way about when Hamilton.
Everybody gets to go.
When Hamilton came here, I wanted to bring my kids. Good luck with that. It's $3,000 a ticket. I was like, fuck you. How dare you? Yeah. How dare you?
Now you can go. Now they have their, the P-cast or whatever it is that's going, but it's not right. It's not right.
Well,
And that's
it's like everything else. What else is it?
That's the one thing I always loved
this.
about Pearl Jam is they were like, we're not going to screw people. You want to come to a show, you come to a show. Everybody should be able to go to a show.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
$853.
Yeah, Phoebe's were $50 a piece.
Dear Sir Paul.
Yeah.
My kid would like to see you, but we don't have $1,700 to go for me to take him.
By the way, it'd be more than that because Ticketmaster's going to add on another
that wasn't like the taxes and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that was just $853.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Bitch. The last thing, last week I mentioned that we had the Lil Muck, and I said Viviana, and her name is Faviana.
Yes.
And when I went back and listened to it, I was like, that did not sound right.
I didn't even catch
I'm
it.
so sorry. I don't know if they heard it or whatever, but it's Faviana Rodriguez and not Viviana. That's embarrassing. Sorry.
It's okay. She
incredible.
was
a sweetheart. Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Today, I'm first, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm covering, what do I care? You don't know who this person is. Former US Congressman Randy Duke Cunningham.
Oh, Duke.
Dude, there's such funny shit in here, bro. Like, there's this thing with this kid that I fucking died. He fucking hear this shit. But, all right, let's fucking do. Now, it might be a little long, so I did cut some stuff out, but.
I had to cut stuff out of mine, too.
Okay, cool.
But there was so much. Yeah, it's so hard sometimes.
I know. Especially the kid story, I was like, this is the fucking tits. I'm keeping it in.
Oh, I can't wait. I need this.
Duke Cunningham was born in Los Angeles, California, to Randall and Leela Cunningham in December 1941. His father was a truck driver for Union Oil at the time. And around 1945, the family moved to Fresno, where Cunningham's father purchased a gas station. He really likes oil and gas.
Oh, God.
In 1953, they moved to rural Shelbina, Missouri, where his parents purchased and managed the Five and Dime Cunningham variety store.
A Five and Dime, God.
It's like the Rose Apothecary from
Schitt's Creek. Yeah.
I love that show.
When I think Five and Dime, I think of like Woolworths and all that old timey.
Did you ever take like a handful of loose candy from one of those places?
Oh yeah.
And just right? Butterscotch always. No. All right, well, she stands alone, I guess. All right, I'll eat all the fucking butterscotches.
The caramels.
I am already old lady. Like, that's such a fucking old lady thing. Like, have a butterscotch, baby. Oh, thank you. And here's a quarter, rub my toes. Okay, so Cunningham graduated from Shelbina High School in 1959, and he attended Kirksville Teachers College for 1 year before transferring to the University of Missouri in Columbia. He graduated with a bachelor's degree in education and physical education in 1964, and he obtained his master's in education the following year. So he was hired as a PE teacher and swimming coach at Hinsdale Central High School, where he stayed for 1 year. And 2 members of his swim team competed in the 1968 Olympics and got the gold and silver medal.
Hey,
how about that?
This is good. I mean, I feel like PE teachers have the life, man.
I know. We've mentioned this before. And when I said PE teacher, I just got a little. I remember when King was like, "But I have to make lesson plans, and we make the same amount of money." I was like, "Ugh." PE teachers are coming for this fucking podcast, pitchforks and basketball.
I love PE teachers. I love PE teachers. I'm just saying, like, I grade a lot of essays.
Oh my God. There's so much shade in all of this. So in 1967, he joins the Navy. Okay? During his service, Cunningham and his navigator radar intercept officer, Irish Driscoll, became the only Navy aces in the Vietnam War, flying an F-4 Phantom II from aboard aircraft carrier USS Constellation. He and Driscoll recorded 5 aerial victories against North Vietnamese. I mean, victories against the North Vietnamese. I mean, I don't know, is it much of a victory? I mean, I don't know.
I know.
Between January and May 1972, including 3 kills in 1 flight, earning them the Navy Cross. Because we award people for murdering people. In the final engagement, Cunningham downed an MiG-17, which was supposedly piloted by Colonel Toon, a mythical North Vietnam Air Force fighter ace loosely based on a North Vietnamese pilot from the 921st Fighter Regiment named Nguyen Van Cock. That's a real name. I didn't make that up.
Wait, so a mythical... So like, did he exist?
Probably make up these No,
like
keep the guys going.
Okay, yeah.
Who's gonna get this guy, right?
Yeah.
You know how they always hear, every time you hear about somebody in like Afghanistan or Iraq being killed, it was like, it's the second in command. I was like, how many fucking second in commands are in this fucking war? My God.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around, it's like the top guy. Okay, so while returning to the carrier after the final shoot down, Cunningham and Driscoll were forced to eject from their F-4 over water near Nam Dinh, but they were rescued by a Navy helicopter. After returning to the U.S. from Vietnam in 1972, Cunningham became an instructor at the U.S. Navy's Fighter Weapons School at the Naval Air Station Miramar in San Diego. So now he's in California, right?
Okay.
He was reportedly nearly court-martialed for allegedly breaking into his commanding officer's office to compare his records and fitness reports with those of his colleagues.
Oh, egomaniac. So he wants to see, am I the best? Am I not the best?
Yes.
That's weird.
It's totally fucking
That's weird.
It's totally, because like who cares?
Who cares?
Oh, he does.
That's very
Of course he denies this, and he was
weird.
supported by 2 of his superior officers, but like...
Because you could steal whatever you want, take what you want, but you're going to just like...
Yeah, he just wants to look to see if he's the best.
Yeah. How many sit-ups did he do in 2 minutes?
Yes. It's fucking weird.
It's like, what else is on there but those fit tests, right?
Yeah. So he served tours with the VF-154 United States 7th Fleet and as executive officer, commanding officer of the shore-based adversary squadron. In 1985, Cunningham earned an MBA from National University. In 1987, he was featured on the PBS broadcast of the Nova special Top Gun and Beyond. Oh, there's so many great pictures from this team. Oh my God. I think I have one in our notes. During which he recounted his engagement with the North Vietnamese fighter pilot thought to be Colonel Toon.
Okay.
He retired from the Navy with the final rank of commander in 1987, settling in Del Mar, a suburb of San Diego. And
so
he became
back to California.
Yeah. So he's in California, and he's married, and they have 2 kids, or they adopted a son together. And he became nationally known as a CNN commentator during the Persian Gulf War.
Oh.
Okay. So, because of his visibility on CNN as commentator, Republican leaders in the area approach him about running for the 44th district to be a U.S. congressman, right? A House rep. The district had been held for 8 years by Democrat Jim Bates and was considered the most Democratic district in San Diego. However, Bates was bogged down in a scandal involving charges of sexual harassment. Ding! Because that's what we do here. Cunningham won the Republican nomination in 1990 and hammered Bates about the scandal, promising to be, quote, a congressman we can be proud of, end quote.
Well, let's see where
Famous
this goes.
last words. He won by just 1 percentage point, giving Republicans full representation of the San Diego area for only the second time since the city was split into 2 districts after the 1960 census. And his status as a Vietnam War hero made him a sought-after source by colleagues and the media in the debate on whether to use military force against Iraq in the lead-up to the first Gulf War. Guy Vander Yacht of Michigan, longtime chair of the National Republican Congressional Committee, said that Cunningham had considerable, quote, drawing power and was treated as a celebrity by fellow Republicans. Even though the district was not nearly as conservative as the other 2 Republican-held districts in the San Diego area, Cunningham was reelected 6 times with no less than 55% of the vote.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too where it's like if they're known and they're out there.
Right. And he's on TV.
Yeah, and so people see his name, they go to the ballot, they see his name, and they fucking reelect him over and over again, right? Even if it's not a big conservative area. Right. You know? So he was a member of the Appropriations and Intelligence Committees and chaired the House Intelligence Subcommittee on the Human Intelligence Analysis and Counterintelligence during the 109th Congress. He was considered a leading Republican expert on national security issues. He was also a champion for education, using his position on the Appropriations Education Subcommittee to steer federal dollars to schools in San Diego. And after surgery for prostate cancer in 1998, he became a champion of early testing for the disease.
Okay, so some good things.
Yeah, so let me give you some of these things that he said while he was in office that are wacky, fucking wacky. So so at one point he making a comment about gay Congressman Barney Frank, where he called the rectal examination for prostate cancer just not natural, unless maybe you're Barney Frank.
What? Why? But why? What purpose does that statement serve? Who is he saying this to?
Probably to make people laugh.
It's It's not right.
No, he's an asshole. He's
I
a fucking
mean-
asshole, right?
Wow.
Displaying his middle finger to a constituent and said, for emphasis, the 2-word meaning of his one finger salute during an argument over military spending. He told a constituent, fuck you, and went like this to him.
Wow. All right, this guy.
But this is the fire I want from Democrats every day. Like, I just
Yes.
want a Democrat to be like, fuck you. You know, fuck you, DeSantis. Fuck you for this bill. Fuck you for, like, just say it. Who cares? I love it.
Well, I think what we need to do with these damn Republicans is start calling them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, these little wimpy,
Yeah.
you know, oh my God, our kid, we have to protect our kids. They can't read stuff. Like, oh, the poor Republicans are so afraid all of the time. Like, just because they have such an ego and they think that they're so tough.
Yeah.
I think that's how we have to hammer them. We have to attack
remember in
them.
the last episode when you were talking about what are we going to call these women? Because we can't call them women. So our engineer here came up with something that I thought was really fucking funny.
Oh my God, let me hear.
W.I.N.O? Woman in name only?
Oh my God.
Is he a genius or is he a
Oh my
fucking
God,
genius?
and then it's like whiny.
Yeah. W.I.N.O.
That's the episode title.
Woo! Tina, fuck this! Thank you for doing my job for me. Brilliant.
Oh, wow.
I laughed for a good 5 minutes, probably fell over when that was said. I was like,
oh,
whoa!
we have to make some W.I.N.O merch.
Yes. With their faces on it.
Oh my God.
First up, Kelly Stargell. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Bitch.
Cunt face.
Cunt face, yeah. Thank you.
All of these,
That's her
the
official title.
Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Yes,
all of these
yes.
trash women. The other one, who did you cover? Didn't you cover? Or I did. Boebert. Yeah.
Okay. Suggesting that the Democratic House leadership should be lined up and shot. A call he had previously made about Vietnam War protesters.
What?
Jesus.
Oh, this is awful. Referring to gay soldiers as homos on the floor of the House of Representatives when he said backers of an environmental amendment were, quote, the same people that would put homos in the military.
Oh my God.
He later apologized for his comments.
Oh. Does
Can
it?
you believe this?
Why isn't he kicked out?
I don't know. Homos is so, it's a funny word to me, but only because that's what you would hear when we were kids. You know, it was acceptable to be like homos. So it just makes me think of that so much. And but it's so awful.
It's so awful.
And this person's elected.
He's an elected official.
What a fucking piece of shit. So while Cunningham said that I cut my own rudder on issues, he had a very conservative voting record, right? So he tries to act like he's a maverick, but, you know, he's really just goes party line. He was often compared by liberal interest groups to former Congressman Bob Dornan. Both were ardent conservatives. Both were former military pilots and spoke out against perceived enemies.
Oh, God.
In 1992... Cunningham, along with Dornan and fellow San Diego Republican Duncan L. Hunter, challenged the patriotism of then Democratic presidential candidate Bill Clinton before a near-empty House chamber, but still viewed by C-SPAN viewers. This was that, you know, Newt Gingrich way of, like, there's nobody there, but they're ranting from the podium, like, insane fucking things that are going out onto the news. Yeah. But they're not saying it to anybody. Like, there's no cheers to this. It's just them trying to make controversial statements, and this guy was doing the same thing.
It's so gross.
Yeah, in September 1996, he criticized President Clinton for appointing judges who were soft on crime and said we must get tough on drug dealers. He added, those who peddle destruction on our children must pay dearly, end quote. He favored stiff drug penalties and voted for the death penalty for major drug dealers. So here's the
death
twist.
penalty for drug dealers?
Yeah. So here's the thing. 4 months later, his son Todd gets arrested for helping to transport 400 pounds of marijuana.
No!
From Texas to Indiana.
Oh my God. This is amazing.
Okay.
So he's smuggling.
Yeah. Meanwhile, his dad's like, put him to death. And his son's like, dee with all that fucking marijuana, like crossing the fucking borders.
Do you remember? I used to love one of my favorite movies in the world is Up in Smoke. And
I've never seen it.
Cheech and Chong.
Oh my God, yeah. But you remember, like, they're coming across the border and there's like a station wagon full of nuns, and they're like, it's a bevy of nuns, and they think that the nuns are smuggling in, and they start like, you know, it's like searching but they're really nuns, and then they end up like going through because like they're distracted because they think that the nuns have smuggled in the marijuana.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You've
never seen?
I've never seen. Maybe now I need to because.
It's just a funny movie.
All right, I will watch it.
We're gonna watch it together.
Oh!
Okay.
Movie night.
There's so many really good lines when he's at the side of the road and he's like dressed like a woman, and then
she still have a mustache though?
Yes, and then
God,
it's Tommy Chong, because he like his parents like kick him out. Oh my god, it's so stupid. But he's like, "Hey, double bubble," and he like tries to pick him up, and then he's like, "Wait," and then he's like, "But I see like I've got weed," and then that's how they're friends. Yes.
Oh my god.
The movie is hilarious.
All right, we'll watch it.
Am I right?
Yeah,
It's
really
so good.
All right.
Ridiculous.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I gotta get through this story.
I'm sorry.
I'm stopping with Cheech and Chong's now.
I'm sorry.
All right, so the son pleads guilty to possession and conspiracy to sell marijuana, and at his son's hearing, Cunningham fought back tears as he begged the judge for leniency.
Oh, he shouldn't be put to death?
Oh no! What?
Oh, I thought.
He was sentenced. So Todd was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, in part because he tested positive for cocaine 3 times while on bail.
Wow.
He must have been a hell of a dad. Could you imagine this kid can't even fucking stand it? Yeah. His press secretary responded to accusations of double standards with, quote, "The sentence Todd got had nothing to do with Duke. Duke is and has always been tough on drugs and remains tough on drugs."
So then why didn't he go to the judge and say, "Throw the book at him, judge"?
Yeah.
Let's make an example out of my own son, to show that this is such a serious issue.
I know. So let's get into this scandal. Okay. That's not it. That was So in June 2005, a story appeared in the San Diego Union Tribune by Marcus Stern and Jerry Kramer, who later received a Pulitzer Prize. A Pulitzer Prize? Like a Cracker Jack box. Yay! You won a Pulitzer! You get a tattoo and you get a whistle and you get a fucking glass of tiger, but you get a Pulitzer. Okay. They won the Pulitzer Prize for the reporting, and the story revealed that a defense contractor, Mitchell Wade, founder of the defense contracting firm MZM Inc., bought Cunningham's house in Del Mar in 2003 for $1,675,000.
In 2003?
Yes. A month later, Wade, who's this contractor, put it back on the market, and it remained unsold for 8 months until the price was reduced to $975,000. Okay, so he pays Cunningham for his house. He buys the house from him.
Why?
Well, I mean,
why at that high cost and then it goes down?
Right.
So
Cunningham was a member of the Defense Appropriations Committee at the time, and soon after the purchase, Wade's company began to receive tens of millions of dollars worth of defense and intelligence contracts. Cunningham claimed the deal was legitimate, adding, quote, "I feel very confident that I haven't done anything wrong." Right? So it was like a legitimate way to bribe him. To give him money.
So he basically made like $500,000 on the sale of what his house would have really sold for. And that was his way of hooking up this contractor.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What a nice guy.
Yeah. So later in June, it was further reported that Cunningham lived on a rent-free on a yacht named Duke Stir while he was in Washington, and the yacht was owned by Wade. Cunningham paid only for the maintenance of the yacht.
What?
Yeah. An article in the San Diego Union Tribune reported that Cunningham liked to invite women to his yacht.
Oh, hey. Come look at my boat. I got a big boat.
Oh my God, Tina's today. Jeez Louise. That's my role.
I know. I'm sorry.
You're the good one.
I'm keeping it. I'm going to behave.
I mean, at least on the podcast, she's incredibly filthy off the podcast. Okay.
We're cutting that out.
No, we are?
No.
Okay. So the two of them said that he would change. So he would invite women onto the yacht, and two of these women said when they were interviewed that he would change into pajama bottoms and a turtleneck sweater to entertain them with chilled champagne by the light of a lava lamp.
Wait, like
dude,
silk,
by the way.
silk boxers and a turtleneck?
Yeah, and then he'd put
Why
on.
would you have a turtleneck with boxers?
I don't know. Maybe he was didn't have a lot of confidence on his body up there. I mean, I would totally try to hide everything, right? Like I'd back out of a room. I walk out like this. Don't look at me. 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 I'll be right back. And I run out.
No.
Well, that's what I do.
Why?
I hate myself.
Oh my God.
She's got a lot of work to do. So the FBI launched an investigation regarding the real estate transaction in Cunningham's home. MZM corporate offices and Wade's home were all simultaneously raided by the federal agencies with warrants on July 1st, 2005.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's living for free, essentially.
Yeah.
And this guy's getting all these great contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, this is clear and obvious.
Yes. On July 14th, 2005, Cunningham announced that he would not run for a ninth term in 2006, saying that while he believed he would be cleared of any wrongdoing, he could not defend himself and run for re-election at the same time. He admitted to displaying poor judgment when he sold his house to Wade. Besides Wade, the three other co-conspirators were Brent R. Wilkes, founder of San Diego-based ADCS Inc., New York businessman Thomas Condogenius, and John T. Michael, who is the nephew of Condogenius, and the owner of the New York-based mortgage firm Coastal Capital Corp. So he's
they're
doing
all
this with
they're
other
all
people.
in cahoots
Yeah.
with this real estate contracting in business.
Yes.
Okay.
So property records show the company made $1.15 million in real estate loans to Cunningham, two of which were used in the purchase of his Rancho Santa Fe mansion. So he's also getting money that way. Court records show that Wade paid off one of those loans. So a contractor's paying off loans that Cunningham had.
Yeah, no, this is crazy.
In 1997, Cunningham had pushed the Pentagon into buying a $20 million document digitization system created by ADCS Inc., one of the several defense companies owned by Wilkes. And the Pentagon said they didn't want to buy the system. And when it had done so 3 years later, Cunningham angrily demanded the firing of Lou Kratz, who was an assistant undersecretary of defense, and he thought he was responsible for the delays. But they didn't want the fucking program, and he was like hammering them to get it
because he's
getting
gonna
all
make
this
money.
fucking shit.
He's gonna make money.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it later emerged that Wilkes reportedly gave Cunningham more than $630,000 in cash and favors.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. He was
Everybody is so shady.
Yeah, but remember, he was going to be someone that the district could be proud of.
Yeah. Well.
On April 27, 2006, months after he pleads guilty and all of that, he's going to end up going to jail. But the Wall Street Journal reported that in addition to all the favors, gifts, and money Cunningham received from defense contractors who wanted his help, Cunningham may have been provided with sex workers, hotel rooms, limousines, and other amenities.
Wow. Yeah. Look at Cunningham.
Of course.
Wow.
Right? On November 28, 2005, he pleaded guilty to tax evasion, conspiracy to commit bribery, mail fraud, and wire fraud in federal court in San Diego. Among the many bribes Cunningham admitted receiving was the sale of his home in Del Mar at the inflated price and the free use of the yacht, a used Rolls Royce, an antique furniture, Persian rugs, jewelry, and a $2,000 contribution for his daughter's college graduation party.
What?
I mean...
Wow. How did he think that he would get away with it? That's a lot of stuff.
Well, he's fucking egotistical,
and how
right?
much money does he make as a congressman?
Yeah, not that much.
To try to justify... And taxes.
It makes no sense.
No, this makes no sense.
So his attorney, Mark Halscher, later said that the government's evidence was so overwhelming they had no choice but to recommend a guilty plea.
Oh, my God. They're like, well, we can't do
Oh, my God. Now, that's something you never hear a defense attorney. Like, how can we wiggle?
Yeah.
Oh, we're fucked. Like, you're in no trouble. I mean, you're in so much trouble. Like, it's no way we're getting the fuck out of this.
Wow. Like, take the plea.
It's like the complete opposite of the guy you covered last week who was like, the wife's a piece of shit and he's over here fucking girls. Like, no. And this guy was like, bro, I'm so sorry. You have to go to jail. You have to go to jail.
How long does he go to jail?
Hold on. I don't remember. Okay, so with the plea bargain, Cunningham faced a maximum of 10 years, and he fought the charges, of course, and but if he had fought the charges, he risked spending more time in jail.
Right.
So as part of this guilty plea, Cunningham agreed to forfeit his $200.55 million home in Rancho Santa Fe, which he bought with the proceeds of the sale from the Del Mar house, and initially tried to sell the Rancho Santa Fe house, but federal prosecutors moved to block the sale after finding evidence it was purchased with Wade's money.
Oh,
so
my God.
So I'm
going to sell the house I got in a bad way to try to pay off the money that I got in a bad way. Yeah. That's so stupid.
He also had to forfeit more than $1.8 million in cash, antiques, rugs, and other items.
Oh,
it's such a funny thing, isn't it?
What is his wife doing?
I think she ended up leaving him during the middle.
Imagine that, like, people are just coming and taking your stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, she had to know something shady was
afoot. Of course. So then, as part of the plea agreement, Cunningham agreed to help the government in its prosecution of others involved in the defense contract bribery. So he's like he's also a rat. He's flipping. Okay, so he resigns, right? He announced that he'll resign from the House, and we had a press conference, and after entering the plea, and then he had this statement which is a little bit long, but it's all right.
Yeah.
So he says, quote, "When I announced several months ago that I would not seek re-election, I publicly declared my innocence because I was not strong enough to face the truth. So I misled my family, staff, friends, colleagues, and the public, even myself. For all of this, I am deeply sorry. The truth is, I broke the law, concealed my conduct, and disgraced my high office. I know that I will forfeit my freedom, my reputation, my worldly possessions, and most importantly, the trust of my friends and family. In my life, I have known great joy and great sorrow, and now I have known great shame."
Ooh.
Damn. "I learned in Vietnam that the true measure of a man is how he responds to adversity. I cannot undo what I have done, but I can atone. I am almost 65 years old, and as I enter the twilight of my life, I intend to use the remaining time that God grants me to make amends." End quote.
All right.
Pretty good. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
We've read lots of these statements on the show. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, someone helped him write that.
Oh, definitely. Come on. And that turtleneck, honey. Can you imagine you go to this yacht and this old man,
just can't
he comes out with
imagine
glasses and he's like, ding, 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 ding.
I know,
He's got
but
that
like,
fucking turtleneck on. You're like,
silk
oh my God.
boxers and a turtleneck just
But the lava
weird
lamp
to
is
me.
like, it's like the perfect, you know? To make love by the light of a lava lamp? That's kind of hot.
Yeah.
They sell those on Amazon, I wonder?
I bet you can get one.
Okay. So,
Have you ever had a lava lamp?
My sister had a lava lamp.
I
when we
had
were
one.
younger,
I
in
had
high
one
school.
too.
Yeah.
I had one.
There was a time when that was like a thing.
Yeah.
With your neon phone and your lava fucking lamp. So, on March 3rd, 2006, U.S. District Judge Larry A. Burns sentenced Cunningham to 8 years and 4 months in prison. Federal prosecutors pushed for the maximum sentence of 10 years, but Cunningham's defense lawyers argued that at 64 years old and with prostate cancer, Cunningham would likely die in prison if he received the full sentence.
Oh, well.
Judge Burns cited his military service in Vietnam, age, and health as the reason for not giving him the full 10 years. Prosecutors announced that they were satisfied with the sentence, which was the longest jail term ever given to a former congressman.
Wow.
On the day of sentencing, Cunningham was 90 pounds lighter than when allegations first surfaced 9 months later. You lose a bit of your appetite when you're accused of a crime. And all your dirt comes to the surface, Tina. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love this accent.
It might be a good diet, though. Maybe I should commit some crimes.
No.
Okay.
No.
After receiving his sentence, Cunningham made a request to see his 91-year-old mother one last time before going to prison. He said, quote, "I made a very wrong turn. I rationalized decisions I knew were wrong. I did that, sir," Cunningham said. But the request was immediately denied, and he was brought to prison. He was incarcerated at the minimum security satellite camp in the U.S. Penitentiary at Tucson, Arizona, and with a scheduled release date of June 4th, 2013.
Wow.
He spent his time at the prison teaching fellow inmates to obtain their GED, as well as advocating for prison reform. Always the politician. Despite his guilty plea, Cunningham received pensions for his 21 years of U.S. Navy service and almost 15 years in Congress. However, prosecutors were successful in garnishing them for back taxes and penalties. In June 2010, Cunningham submitted a handwritten 3-page letter to sentencing judge Larry Burns, complaining that the IRS was killing him by seizing all his remaining savings and his congressional Navy pensions.
Sorry, dude.
Penalties, and he feels were not warranted under his plea agreement.
Okay.
Burns wrote back in August 2010, stating that the agency was collecting back taxes, interest penalties on the bribes Cunningham received in 2003 and 2004. Thus, there was no action that was going to be taken.
Sucks for you, dude.
Yeah. In April 2011, Cunningham sent a 10-page typewritten document pleading his case to USA Today, the Los Angeles Times, Talking Points Memo, and San Diego City Beat. He titled the document "The Untold Story of Duke Cunningham."
Oh, okay.
In the document, Cunningham says that because Judge Burns has declared his case closed, he is now offering to speak to the media, which had inundated him with inquiries since 2004. And according to City Beat,
he's trying to make some money.
Yeah. According to City Beat, in the statement, Cunningham claimed that he was doped up on sedatives and made his plea knowing that it was 90 to 95% untrue.
Oh.
Can you believe this? Like you have this beautiful statement when you resign and you leave, and now you're like, oh, it's not real.
Yeah.
What? Why are you doing that? You did the right thing already. What the fuck are you doing, man?
He wants out. He wants to get out.
Yeah, he was released
and
to
he wants some money. He wants to sell his story to these newspapers.
Yeah. He was released to a halfway house in New Orleans in February 2013, and on June 4th, 2013, he was completely released from confinement. Cunningham told a federal judge that he planned to live in Arkansas and that he would live on $1,700 a month, which is what he was getting from all those things. Yeah.
Wow, he's that changed.
Yeah. In his letter, Cunningham pleaded for a gun permit, saying he longed to hunt in Arkansas. Mm-hmm. The judge denied the request as being beyond the scope of his authority, citing the law that limits the gun permits for convicted criminals, a law that Cunningham voted for while in Congress.
Oh my God, that is the best irony at the end of this.
Well, here's another great thing. On January 13th, 2021, Cunningham received a full pardon from Donald Trump.
Of course he did.
Which means he'll get all that money,
He'll
right?
get
He'll get all the
back.
pension. He'll get all the...
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trump.
Yep. And that's Duke Cunningham.
Wow.
Bitch. Do you like it?
I mean, just the fact that he sold his house, like he's doing all and just racking in all this money, and then thinks like no one is going to notice. The IRS isn't going to look.
It's kind of a genius
even
thing.
other people.
The problem is, selling the house is so genius, but it just was in the fucking real name of the person who owns the defense contracting
They
company.
should have tried to have a shell. They should have had a shell company.
Somebody else. What are you talking about?
They should have had some other connection.
Yeah. It's weird.
But then that would have been like money laundering or something.
Classic
that would have been another
some
kind of charge.
I think the Sun story is my favorite part.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Emma Goldman.
Oh.
So, Russian immigrant Emma Goldman became known as a leading champion for women's rights. But after years of political anarchy, she's deported back to Russia. I love this lady so much.
Okay. I feel like I might know this person.
You might. I mean,
it's like
I am in love with this lady.
Oh my gosh.
I was like reading about her. I'm like, I need to get her autobiography. So, our story takes place primarily in New York during the late 1800s and early 1900s. So when I first started this, I didn't realize like how much background there is. So I cannot include all of it. So I'm going to just have the juicy bits of it included, All right. So
as you do.
As I do. All right. So also when I first started this, I thought that Goldman was a standard sort of suffragette of that time. But she's not. She was like a full-on anarchist. And I'm like, yes.
Burn it down.
Yes. And she wanted to, according to the Jewish Women's Archive, she wanted a new social order. And for her, like, anarchy was a way to make that happen. So she was born in Russia in 1869. She comes to the U.S. in 1885 at 16 years old. So she's, ends up like living her life in America. And she got involved in politics after a riot in Chicago called the Haymarket Affair. So I wanted to do, the Haymarket Affair could be like its own episode, so I'm just gonna highlight it a little bit. And according to like the wiki page on it, this was a massacre that happened in Chicago in 1886. So Goldman was 17 years old at the time, and the riot centered on labor workers who were protesting for things like an 8-hour workday and things like that. And by all accounts, the protests started off peacefully. But the police ended up killing one of the workers and a few others were hurt. And so the day after that happened, someone threw dynamite at the cops and they wanted the crowd to disperse and they approached the speakers and then this bomb was thrown.
Whoa.
And that bomb killed 7 police officers.
Oh no.
And then once the bomb went off, the gunfire started.
Oh my gosh.
And no one is clear about like who started the shooting, but the police were shooting at like the people in the crowd.
Right.
At the demonstrators, and ultimately 4 of them were killed and 70 were wounded. And that's according to historian Paul Avrich. So what followed was a trial, and like today when cops are killed, people go nuts. And a set of 7 anarchists were set to trial, and they were sentenced to death for the murder of the cops.
Wow.
So like I said, like there's a lot to that story, and that's kind of just like a very brief overview. But that's something that she kind of like heard about. It was like a big thing, and that kind of inspired her to her political work at a young age. So again, like I said, this is all about like labor unions, and the labor unions kind of flipped out at the time over the sentencing, and then riots are cropping up everywhere as a result. And even though the labor workers flipped, the media at the time, they were painting anarchists in this very bad light, but they're just like trying to help out the worker. you know, because corporations don't give a shit.
Right.
And they still don't give a shit today, right?
I mean, this would be the same scenario today.
I mean, look at like Amazon and like
Yeah.
all of these other companies. So they were they looked at them like as you're these dangerous folks, and it led to anti-immigrant sentiment because a lot of the people that were anarchists were immigrants fighting for these rights. Right. And she is this Russian immigrant, and so there's also, you know, that connection to like the Bolsheviks and like the Russian revolutionary movement and all of that. So that's where her kind of interest in anarchy kind of stems from. And she liked the idea of a society of equals where everyday people could solve problems and that it's not the state dictating everything. So the American Experience article also noted that Goldman had an unhappy marriage and decided to leave that marriage, which at the time is pretty radical, right?
Yeah.
Like women weren't just like
She was pretty young too.
She was very young. So she decides to take off to New York, and once she's there, she joins the German anarchist movement. I'm like, wow. So just to give a definition of what an anarchist is, specifically during like the progressive era and the Gilded Age, according to Lauren Golder's dissertation, Anarchy at Home, she talks about it as a political philosophy that views hierarchy as the root of many social problems and seeks to free humans from systems of power such as the state. During the Gilded Age and Progressive Era, the anarchist movement was perhaps best known for a series of politically motivated bombings and assassinations in the US and Europe, but from this, of what was known as propaganda by deed. And it represented only one aspect of the movement. Some anarchists believe that in order to bring about large-scale revolution, one must also revolutionize their personal life and live according to anarchist principles. Their actions toward this goal included practicing free love, reimagining gender roles and relationships, and experimenting with new forms of education and child rearing. And she's like all about this at that time, which I was like, that's so incredibly progressive. So Goldman is this gifted writer on top of everything. So she gives these speeches and she writes all of these like incredible essays, and they end up serving her very well politically, like the ability to write and speak. So she becomes a leading advocate, and according to Jewish Women's Archive, she is focused on freedom of expression, radical education, sexual freedom, birth control, equality, and union organization. Oh my God, and she had this to say about anarchism in a 1910 essay. Anarchism is the great liberator of man from the phantoms that have held him captive.
Ooh,
she has so many essays. I was reading some of her essays and I was like, oh my God. And I
even
just,
after all the essays you have to read for school?
No, like her essays are so good. Maybe you should be a PE teacher and then just read her essays all day. So her work actually led her to be considered radical. Of course. And it earned her the label of the most dangerous woman in America.
Oh my God!
Like
somebody
that's what the U.S. like the U.S. government,
the
U.S. government considered her that. Like imagine
so
that.
Hot. Fuck! I love this.
So when she's in New York, she hooks up with this guy named Alexander Berkman. And Berkman was a straight up anarchist as well. And he believed in political assassination.
Oh, wait a minute.
So, yes.
Wait a minute.
And this led to Berkman's involvement in the assassination attempt of a steel magnate by the name of Henry Clay Frick. So, like, they really believe, like, we got to take down these people, and he's very radical. He's very radical.
Mean, that is radical. Murder is
murder. I mean, it's too far. It's too far.
Whoa.
But so, according to the American Experience, this attempt was in retaliation to how Frick treated steelworkers during the Homestead Steel Strike. And the article notes that both Berkman and Goldman have this sort of anarchist position stemming again from that Russian background. So again, that's sort of this anti-immigrant for certain immigrants comes into this a little bit, and that they didn't understand like American culture was very different. Like in Russia, maybe this was how things were done, but not in America. But they're like, whatever, like we're blowing up these people because we need to protect the workers. So again, very radical. Damn. Berkman ends up serving 14 years for trying to kill Frick. So they don't kill him, but he goes to jail for it, right?
What the fuck?
But Goldman, she's with him, but she like doesn't go to jail. You know, they don't see her as like involved in like the plot to assassinate this guy. So meanwhile, she continues on with her work, And almost a decade later, President William McKinley is assassinated by this guy, Leon Zolgas. And when asked why he did it, this self-proclaimed anarchist said that he got inspiration to kill the president from one of Emma Goldman's lectures.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Tina, stop it!
I was like,
stop.
what?
Holy
so
shit!
she didn't know him, but
No.
he like attended one of her lectures, and he's like,
this is like the Fox News
it's
nonsense.
it's crazy.
Come on, it does
like,
make
yeah.
people fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So
Shit.
I know. So according to
Well,
the
that's not
American,
good.
so this is the thing though.
This is it.
Now
I mean,
Goldman, instead of condemning the death of the U.S. president,
Mhm.
she comes to Zolgas's defense. She says, quote, "As an anarchist, I'm opposed to violence, but if the people want to do away with assassins, they must do away with the conditions which produce murderers." So, she, like, you know what I'm saying? She's like, this is a systemic problem.
You all need to look
and
at yourself.
we need to look at what is causing people to want to go to these extremes, and it's capitalism, right? That is causing all.
Wow.
I'm telling you, like, the more I was reading, I was like, this lady is.
Yeah, because she could have easily come
tired.
out and been like,
Listen,
this is awful. I can't believe this happened. I'm so sorry.
And at
she's
the
like,
time, as a
take a look
woman-
at yourself, bitch. Look in the mirror.
And as a woman
Oh my
in this
God.
time period, like,
Yeah,
just
it's
to keep
incredible.
going,
Oh, dude,
I was
come
like,
on.
wow.
Yeah, I would never leave my
So-
house again.
Again, to be clear, for her and many anarchists, they don't necessarily believe in bombing shit or advocating for violence, but they say that the violence stems from the system of government that is in place. So they defend it in a way because they want people to rise up against oppression.
Yeah.
So she continued to give lectures, and she tries to make this idea of anarchism palatable to
Right.
Americans, right? And it was more popular with immigrant populations who often do a lot of the labor work that other people don't want to do, right? The other thing she did is she started a magazine called Mother Earth, which focused on politics and literature. I want this magazine to
I was
come
gonna
back.
say,
Can we
my
make this
God.
magazine come back?
If anybody could do it, you could, Tina.
It started in 1906 and it remained in publication until 1917.
Wow.
And then I'll talk about why the magazine was
Okay.
shut down. So I'm going to kind of go into some of the things that got her into trouble.
Okay.
So she was like a big advocate for workers' rights, and she finds herself arrested and imprisoned in 1808. She got arrested several times.
Okay.
And went to jail. Like, she was just like, she just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
But in 1893, as she challenged the unemployed to take action, she said, quote, "Ask for work. If they do not give you work, ask for bread. If they do not give you work or bread, take bread." Like,
Damn.
just do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know why I love her so much, but I do. I'm like, yes, girl. So
But
she
I mean,
got in trouble.
anarchy is like the-
She got imprisoned for this, for trying to like rile up,
Yeah.
you know, the labor
Yeah.
unions and all of that.
Mm.
So freedom of speech. So after McKinley is killed, there's more and more pressure to stop folks from speaking out against the government. And this prompts Goldman to continue to lecture about freedom of speech. And she starts doing work with an organization called the Free Speech League, according to Berkeley's Emma Goldman paper. So she's like, we're going to keep going.
Damn.
Here's something else that I was like, what? And it's birth control.
Love
So Margaret Sanger was one of the leading fighters in the birth control movement, and her mentor was Emma Goldman.
But you remember we talked about Margaret Sanger,
Yes.
but how she was part of Planned Parenthood, who would also go after women of color. And,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
Okay.
But Emma Goldman is not like that.
No, I got it.
But this woman, she kind of mentored her. And as noted in the Emma Goldman papers, Goldman believed that birth control could not only lead to sexual freedom for women, but also economic freedom. And she began advocating for birth control around 1900. So 122 years ago, and we're
incredible.
still fighting
Yeah, it's incredible.
for access to birth control.
Yeah. It's
122 years.
that's why I'm like, why?
122 years.
But women have never been respected at any point before that, so it's like it's forever. It's more than 122
Yeah.
years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a way to hang on to that, to have control over us. And you're right, that economic power,
Yes.
the freedoms to be able to live a life that is good. And you can
Yes.
have that life when you choose to have children.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
We talked about this the other night. We both had our children in our 30s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we had our 20s to enjoy our lives
Yes.
and and go to school and earn a living and go travel and
Yes.
do the things that we wanted to do. That was the freedom we had because of birth control.
Yes.
Or condoms.
My God.
Whatever you're using.
Whatever you're using.
Whatever you're doing.
So at the time, the Comstock Act was in effect, and essentially that was about you can't mail or produce anything obscene, like no pornographic material. And of course, they added that contraception was in and of itself obscene. So if you did any pamphlets on contraception, if you talked about it, so that's how she ends up in jail, because she's trying to inform people about birth control. She went to prison on at least 2 different occasions. In a letter she wrote about birth control, she said, quote, "While I am not particularly anxious to go to jail, I should yet be glad to do so if thereby I can add my mite to the importance of birth control and the wiping off of our antiquated law upon the statute."
Wow.
And according to Lily Rothman's Time magazine article, when she was released from jail, 3,000 people showed up to get information about birth control.
Holy fuck!
Yeah.
Tina!
I know.
That's
It's like,
insane.
wow. Like, how about that? Like, wow.
Tina,
All right.
She's
So-
fucking amazing.
The major incident.
Oh no.
So while she found herself in trouble for a lot of things, it was her anti-war, anti-military stance that lands her in the biggest trouble.
Okay.
So she did not believe that any state, like any governing power, had the right to evoke war on anyone else. So, and remember I said she was on that free speech crusade? Well, there were 2 laws that were put into place that continued to curtail freedom of speech. And those were known as the Espionage Act of 1917 and the Sedition Act of 1918, which we've talked about in other episodes. And basically these laws, as noted on the history site, criminalized any, quote, disloyal, profane, scurrilous, or abusive language, and the U.S. government or military or any speech intended to incite insubordination, disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal of duty.
It's a
and
law,
that part is where she gets
patriotic law
Yes,
to be a patriot.
Yes.
It's just the opposite of like what freedom of speech is about. It's so insane.
And we're heading into World War I.
Right.
So Woodrow Wilson, then the president, didn't want people talking shit about the government or their position about entering the war. And if you did, like, into the slammer you go. Like, that's it.
Non-stop, endless propaganda.
Right.
Which is still happening.
It's still happening.
Now the propaganda is on your Twitter feed.
Right.
I told you this. Like, I mean, I've discussed it with our engineer, but like, I don't want to get involved in like this Russia, Ukraine, like we've talked about it anyway, but like what I consider propaganda to prop up this president of Ukraine, like he's some sort of a heartthrob. It's fucking weird and creepy.
It's been
like,
happening.
Why are we romanticizing this person? I mean, yes, he's at war. Like we're supporting.
Yes,
we get it.
yes.
But like, what is this propaganda and this idea to push him as like a teen bop like idol? Like it's so fucking weird. Here's a picture of him and his wife and their kids and the dog. Why are you so? I know he's a human being.
Yes.
Like I don't need to see that he's a family man to support the country. Russia's obviously
but
fucking
I think other
turds,
people.
but, like,
I think
it's so
other people
fucking
don't
weird.
know. You know what I mean?
But like, it's such a push that it's obvious that there's something behind it. There's like some sort of spin machine behind it, and it's fucking weird. It's really fucking weird.
We have to justify our involvement.
Yeah, but that's how we get people. But
happening.
So I think
I'm
what
sure.
it is that people are so dumb.
Yes.
That's the level they can understand
Yes.
it. Is he's a family, like pull at their heartstrings, not really like the issues of what's happening. Like we don't have to, but people are so fucking basic in their way of thinking. It's like, it's a bachelor's, like the Bachelor reality show idea of like drawing somebody in.
Is media entertainment.
Yes,
so
and that's
gross.
what it is. It's to get them, pull them in that way and make him this like romantic hero instead of just like backing the country because it's the right fucking thing to do. Like,
well,
what in the
maybe
fuck
to
is
try
that?
to get people to be on board with backing.
It's so fucking weird, but it's constant propaganda. And people need to acknowledge and recognize that. It can be propaganda that may look like it's for a good thing, but like, why are we pushing so hard for this? Why are we doing that? I don't get it.
I think
it's
just
fucking
to stop,
weird.
I think just to stop Putin.
That's fine. Let's stop him.
Yeah.
Let's stop him. Put the sanctions on. Take the fucking necessary steps we need to do. But like, I don't need to fall in love with this Ukraine president. Just fucking let's go. Back him.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, so Goldman didn't believe in the war and actively spoke out against it and the draft.
Uh-oh.
And as a result, they banned her magazine. So
Okay,
that's
Mother
how
Earth.
Mother Earth is gone. But she doesn't relent. She keeps on going with her anti-war crusade, and she's giving lectures. And she does this with her old-time buddy Berkman, like when he's out of jail. Yeah.
He gets out?
Yeah, so the two of them are arrested
Uh-oh.
for their actions. So the charges, according to the Emma Goldman papers, she's charged with conspiring against the draft.
Stupid.
So she goes to trial, and though she did try to appeal to the Supreme Court, no dice, she's convicted of the charge. And she's sentenced to 2 years in prison with the possibility of deportation back to Russia. Now, this is in 1917. She's been in the U.S. since 1885. She's been here 32 years. She has grown up here. She came as like a teenager, and they're like, we're going to send you back. Like, this is on the table. So the aftermath of all of this, she is released, but then she's immediately rearrested in 1919 by none other than J. Edgar Hoover.
Ooh.
And he
wow.
he was head of the General Intelligence Division.
She's a perfect target for him.
And he decided to deport Goldman and Berkman along with 200 other radicals, all foreign-born, of course.
Get out of my country.
So does Goldman let this bring her down? No. She
What?
keeps doing the work in Russia. Then she has to flee Russia because, it's dangerous for her around 1921. And she ends up in Europe, later Canada. And she does return to do visits to the U.S. In 1924. She does like a speaking tour.
Nice.
So some points of interest. The founder of the American Civil Liberties Movement was influenced by Goldman. And he said to her in a letter, quote, "You always remain one of the chief inspirations of my life. For you aroused in me a sense of what freedom really means."
Holy shit.
I know. I thought this was funny. Like, she chained herself to a podium during one of her lectures because she's like, "Come and take me away," but like no cops showed up. She's like chained there. I was like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought.
According to a Teen Vogue article, she the press at the time used to refer to her as Red Emma because she's like a commie.
Yes.
And then I wanted to note that after her first prison stint in 1893, she found an interest in nursing, and she worked as a nurse here and there, like throughout her life. And that was how she really like learned about the need for birth control, because she was working for low-income immigrant women, and she's like, there's all these babies, and they shouldn't be forced to have all these babies.
Yeah, damn.
She wrote an autobiography called Living My Life, which I'm probably going to order today.
Oh my God.
And when I say she's a prolific writer, like there's this one website and it's just all of these essays that she wrote, and it's incredible. And she's beautiful. So in 1896, she wrote an essay titled Anarchy and the Sex Question.
Woo!
Love this. And she writes about divorce. And she says, if a marriage isn't satisfactory, you don't have to stay. And she closes with, if married life has not robbed you of honor and self-respect, if you have love for those you call your children, you must, for your own sake as well as theirs, seek emancipation and establish liberty. Then and not until then will the evils of matrimony cease. Like, let's go.
She's a genius.
She also defended gay relationships.
Oh my God.
Well ahead of her time. And she said in 1897,
wow,
quote,
let's go.
I demand the independence of woman, her right to support herself, to live for herself, to love whomever she pleases, or as many as she pleases. I demand freedom for both sexes, freedom of action, freedom in love, and freedom in motherhood. It is a tragedy, I feel, that people of different sexual type are caught in a world which shows so little understanding for homosexuals and is so crassly indifferent to the various gradations and variations of gender and their great significance in life.
Holy shit, bro. This is fucking crazy.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
But it still applies today. The fact that it hits us like that is because we are still experiencing this bullshit
but
in
I'm
fucking
like,
2022. We just had a Don't Say Gay bill passed.
Yes.
This woman's fighting in the 1896. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
And she's like an atheist, like anti-religion. Like,
but you know what it is? It's as much as like we felt the same way she did. Can you imagine fucking hatred and shit that was happening against like gays at the time?
Yes.
These fucking morons, these fucking cavemen that are up there in Tallahassee feel the same way. They haven't evolved at all.
No.
At all.
No.
It's insane.
She also acknowledged that Black men were not free, though the law said they were, and she spoke of the inequities facing Black men along with the daily violence that they face. So she talked about that as well, which a lot of feminists didn't acknowledge or talk about.
Right.
She died in 1939 as a result of a stroke, and this is the thing that made me so sad. Is one of the reports I read said that she had this one stroke and it debilitated her, and she could hear but she couldn't speak, and they were like, she's this incredible orator, and like that's like her thing, and that she was stripped of that ability at the end to be able to communicate. Kind of was tragic. After her death, the Library of Congress article on Goldman notes they allowed her body to be returned to the U.S. and buried in a Chicago cemetery, which was near a monument for the martyrs of the Haymarket riot.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, she came full circle. Like,
That's
I don't know.
Incredible.
All right, and then I have a couple of quotes.
Yes, let's go. Let's hear it.
It's just like two little ones. And it says, if I can't dance, I don't want to be in your revolution.
Ooh!
What?
That's a tattoo, bitch.
Oh.
That is a tattoo.
I love it. And then she says,
too.
Environment can only bring out what is inherent in human beings. It can never put anything in sterile ground. If it had not been born with the love of freedom and the intense hatred of injustice, I do not believe that I would have become what I am.
Wow.
So I know, I mean, I'm leaving out so much, but that is the story of agitator and anarchist Emma Goldman.
Oh, Tina.
Like,
amazing.
wow.
So fucking good.
I am in love. I'm like, I want to read everything of hers. I mean, she had like essays on like birth control, on like against religion, like all of this stuff that I just feel like is so radical.
I love it.
For the time.
Oh my gosh.
And to have the bravery to do it, and
you know, it's so funny that
and like leave her marriage and just do this.
I don't know if I was saying it to you or what, but I was like, the podcast can be so depressing. Like we have to do these stories over and over again, where it's like, you know, even the things that she's fighting against are just like the same shit that we talk about and we don't like and we're fighting against. But it's so amazing to hear that a good positive story, even though she, you know, I mean, but she did do everything she could, and it's incredible.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Anarchy.
Oh, always. Always anarchy.
Yes.
Always. There's no other way. There's no other way. For in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers just have to learn. They got to know. They have got to know. And they don't understand any other. Listen, this is a conversation we have fucking had this week about women who do one run, right? They win an election and then they leave office because of the violent fucking threats against them.
Violence against them.
And they've had the courage and the bravery to stand up and run for office and say the things that they believe in and all that stuff. And what happens? They are attacked.
They're thrown in jail. They're deported. But
the phone calls, the emails, the direct messages, the threats of sexual violence, of physical violence against them and their family members. And these women don't want to be in office anymore.
It's out of control.
It's out of control.
And it's not right.
But we beg these women to run for office. We need more women.
And then they're in danger.
And we do. And then what are we doing to protect them? Where are the people who are going to protect these women? You know?
That's the thing.
It's fucked up.
That's the thing.
It's like we want women to stand up.
Men
like,
do not have that fear.
She stands up and she gets fucking deported. Like, it's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
You can see why more immigrant women wouldn't stand up, because they have families and they got to stay here.
Right.
Right. They don't want to risk getting thrown out of America. But she did all that.
She did it.
I don't know. It's really upsetting.
Oh,
Tina. So tonight.
Oh yes.
So I was wrong last week on the podcast. And Tina's like, it's on the 12th. And I'm like, this is at the end of the month. No, Tina, as soon as we got off, I was on my phone. I'm like, tonight we're going to the Broward Dems Gala for the Broward Democratic Party.
It's going to be so fun. It's going to be fun.
I don't know.
We're gonna have a drink.
Yeah. So what are you wearing anyway?
So I'm either going to wear the thing I wore to Dolphins.
Yeah.
Or I have this other dress, and it's cute. I mean, it's like a block.
Ooh, nice.
And it comes down.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a little loose here, but it doesn't look like a sack. Because I was like, Manny, does it look like a sack on? And he's like, no, you still have a silhouette. It's fine.
Oh,
but
I love this.
It has like a tiny bit loose here. And if it was a smidge.
Yeah.
But I'm like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I might wear that.
Okay.
I think.
Nice.
And I can't wear earrings because like my ear's closed up. And then I like that one because it goes up to here, so I don't have to worry about like jewelry.
Yeah.
That's why I like the other one though, because I don't have to like wear anything.
Yeah, yeah.
I can just like do my hair and makeup quickly and go.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to see people. There's people that are excited.
That's
to
all I've been
see.
doing. So all week I've been asking who's going. So there's going to be some really good people.
There's going to be some great people. Yeah.
I think you told me that our table is next to Nikki Free's table, which I'm fucking here for. Which I'm here for. And so I started going through my closet last week, and I pulled out this one outfit, and it's something that I bought for New Year's Eve that got out here in February. So it's a jumpsuit, but it's all velvet, like a burgundy velvet jumpsuit. And it's
that
like,
sounds so
hi.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it looks good, right? Yeah. Might have to run up to Macy's and find a girdle because, remember in Steel Magnolias where it's like, I had to leave the house, lacquer on this house, you were raised right. Like I need to fucking go get something that
Spanx.
Suck it all in, baby.
Gotta get the Spanx.
Yeah. Because we're looking good, but we're not quite there yet.
Oh, girl.
But we'll get there. We'll get there. And yeah, that's it.
That's all.
Okay, well, hey, look, we're gonna get out of here before this battery dies.
Yes.
Oh, and just one last thing. Oh, fuck, Chip Lamarca. I haven't mentioned my boyfriend's name yet today.
That's a great way to end.
All right. Bye.